Travis Bagent seminar is coming right up. But first, I want to give a thank you to Dave Depew, the owner of Grinders Gym, which the tournament uploaded on my YouTube took place. And the seminar that you're about to see is all thanks to him for hosting it. And another huge thanks to Travis Bagent, of course, for being so articulate. The way he teaches this seminar is amazing. He always brings everything back full circle to make sure everyone understands it. He's well spoken, and the beast knows what he's talking about. So I've got timestamps for all the people in a hurry, but if you have time, I really suggest watching the whole video because there are some secrets he goes over, and everything he goes over will be valuable if you want to be a great arm wrestler. Here we go. Throw you guys in there. Enjoy.
People who have a lot of wrestling people that they know they can beat. Everybody has one move when they're arm wrestling the guy they can't beat. Okay, so I only work on beating a guy I can't beat because it's easy to do it the other way, right? I happen to have been around long enough that I don't need to do a whole lot of stuff. I can pull like anybody and be okay, you know, probably in the top 10 or 15. But I do possess some skills, right, that I can beat someone who's a lot better than me if it's very on point, right? In meaning that I'm thinking about every bit of this scenario, right? So there are a couple things that I can control, at least I think I can if I manipulate hard enough. The first thing is, I feel like if I'm scared of this guy, I'm definitely arm wrestling in the set grip. All right, and there's a couple reasons for that. First and foremost, in the history or the past of our sport, they used to let people turn inside a little and get a grip. And then the referee would start to wind you out and tell you to come, right? So I don't know if you know this, but I do know this. Every arm wrestler, most of us are stronger if we turn into a wrist curl, get our grip, then straighten up a little bit for the ref and say go. I am going to eliminate that equation from that arm wrestling. Now, I'm also going to take it from myself too, but it's more important for me to take it from him, meaning he can't wrist curl and get a grip. Because in the set grip, his wrist is supposed, as long as the referee's doing his job, to stay straight, and then he's supposed to close his hand, right? So, if you tell me that you really want to win, yet you get up there and get a grip twice, that's not a set grip and the guy whacks you, you didn't try as hard as you can, okay? Because if there's some things you can do, like that set grip, that could cause him to not be the same guy. If he doesn't get the right grip, if the timing's different, if you're more comfortable, right? You got a chance. So as soon as you're scared of the guy, you should get a set grip, right? That's just 100%. I'm pulling in a set grip every single time, unless I think you're a chump. So if I've ever arm wrestled any of you, and we didn't go to the set grip, I have this very, very little respect for your arm wrestling skills, right? The first sign that I think you're dangerous is I'm gonna put you in the set grip right away, right? Why am I putting you in the set grip? Does everyone understand why? So that guy does not get a wrist curl grip and then straighten up. That's the only freaking reason, right? Also, I'm pulling in the straps. Every single time I'm scared of you. If I've ever pulled any of you guys and I beat you out of the strap, I wasn't very scared, okay? So why do I want to be in the strap all the time? It's because I can't really stop it from happening if the other guy wants to do it. So how dumb of me would be to be the best out of strap puller in the world, yet every damn match the guy's slipping out, right? So I can slip out. I can't stop him from slipping out most of the time, right? So I need to make sure I'm ready to pull in the strap. Every single match, all of you guys should know to do this. You should have this as a belt, right? First of all, unless you're a super big guy. I'm too big for this, but I wasn't. This would be my belt. And every time someone asks me to arm wrestle, whip this beast out, right? I got it. And I know how to put it on with one hand. If you don't know how to put the strap on with one hand, you cannot beat me because you don't understand how much getting the strap correctly on your hand will make you feel good. Now, there is a way to put the strap on and you can completely screw the other person. However, unless that person's a retard, he's not gonna keep letting that happen, okay? So, I'm not telling you to get in the strap to screw people. I'm telling you, arm wrestle in the strap so much that you can't be screwed in them, okay? People always think there's some big secret to it. There's really not. The secret is, how comfortable are you? How do you get comfortable? You use them. I am terrible now. I've gotten so bad that I can't really arm wrestle without them because I refuse to try to control people with my hand, right? So we always are slipping out unless I'm just a lot better than you. Then it doesn't really matter, okay? Now, there's a couple exercises I'm gonna show you guys that also demonstrate and reflect what these would feel like, right? So if you hook this strap up on the back of your hand and on your wrist is where the referee's gonna do it, and you resist stuff, you are gonna get very comfortable at those two places where that pressure needs to be. So stop thinking that you're retarded in the straps and start having the straps on all the time, right? I'll just let you know, the more of your hand that is inside the strap, the better, right? So this is better than this. Everybody see that? Down here, I really like it when it's really low, but when the referee's not gonna let it go retardedly low, it really doesn't matter that couple inches in there. What matters is that whatever space is between the straps, right? That's this. That when you pull on that strap, you don't just get the pressure from up here or just here, you've equaled it out so that the meat between the straps is what's trying to come through there. And then it equals the pressure, right? And that's when the person can't come forward and they can't back up. If all your pressure is up here, the guy's gonna cut in on you and take all the pressure back here. If you drop your hand too much and all the pressure is here, he can sometimes roll up there. But there's a spot where that meat will, and here's the thing, if this is on all the time with these exercises, you're gonna continue try to get the meat of your hand through that two straps at the same pressure, right? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
How do you get comfortable in the straps? What's the answer? Use the strap. Don't tell me, oh, I can beat him if we stay out of the strap. You're a jackass, okay? And you just said it out loud. So you better hope that guy's deaf or better than him out of the strap. So guess what? You're never gonna get a clean win out of the strap. You might get the him bailing win, but here's the fact. Once he gets it, what a shame that you did all that and now you don't know what the hell you're doing in the strap. Pull in the straps every time. Make sure that you have the ability to put the strap on with one hand. Here's why. You'll learn too. That's why everyone thinks the buckle is so important. If you put the strap on, the other person's getting the buckle. All right, it's a good lesson for everybody. Now, as you want to get really detailed, super crazy like me, I can depict what side of the table I'm on, right? So first of all, I know I want the buckle, or I want him to have the buckle, so I'll walk right up to the side that I know I'm gonna get the buckle, right? Meaning that I'm always, if I'm arm wrestling right-handed, the referee's on my left, right? Now, when you walk up there, sometimes the other guy wants that spot. Well, you gotta flip for it, no problem. If the match is best 2 out of 3, it's really important for me to get that one side for the 3 of the 5 matches, right? If it's necessary. I don't believe in it that much. However, I'm scared it's true. So I'm using it too, why wouldn't I, right? So some guys arm wrestle for 10 years have no idea if the buckle's on their side or the other side. Oblivious, all they care about is how much they're doing wrist curls. And it works. If you're the strongest dude in the world, you don't need any technique. The less strong you are, the more books you better start reading, right? I've read the whole damn library because I'm not that strong. But I know it, I recognize it, I know exactly who I am, so I'm gonna do these things when it matters, all right? How do you get good at the straps? You use them. Why do you put someone in a set grip? So they can't get a wrist curl grip on you. It's a very simple fact, right? Now, the next thing that just absolutely destroys everybody except me is if the other person sets up in a way that they don't feel comfortable with where their hand sits, right? I hear it all the time, man, it's like I couldn't get around him. Or It's so bad that if I do get around him, I've got a wrist curl and potentially foul if we're in the set grip. So for me, I decided a long time ago, if you don't get a wrist curl grip, I don't need one either. Now, if we both get shitty grips, who's gonna react? This guy, right? I don't care anymore as to where the grip is. I have decided that I am simply going to make the tightest, strongest fist that I can possibly make, because your fist is the strongest that your arm can be at that end connection. It's just a fact. And to prove that, if you make a fist, let someone else try to control that thing, and they'll find that they cannot control your knotted fist with their hand over top of it like this. No matter how high they are, they still won't like it, all right? So, as soon as I get to the table, it doesn't matter what grip. What matters is that the person doesn't get to turn in to get his grip. As long as his his hand is straight and he just has to close it, I know that because of that, it's hard to get a good bite, right? So I've decided, won't I just set up a situation, let that guy try to bite on me if he wants, but make it a little hard for him. So when they say go, I learned a long time ago that my wrist curl fist is not as tight as my inverted hand fist, right? And you all can do that right now. If you wrist curl, your fist isn't that awesome. Yeah. If you invert your hand a little bit, you can make an awesome one that actually straightens it up when you make the fist, right? So with an inverted hand, you have got the back of your hand even further away from your opponent, which is a great thing, right? Because what he's trying to do is get control of the back of it, right? Now, it's not gonna be real easy for you guys right away to just make that fist. First thing is, if you make the fist and then the other guy regrips, it ruins it. So when's the best time to do it?
Right at the end.
In the set grip, right? Because it doesn't matter if he doesn't like it, right? If he doesn't like it in the 1 minute setup, he's just gonna keep switching. So a lot of times you'll get frustrated as an athlete saying, man, I don't get that fist thing. I guess I understand, not really, but you can only do it effectively if the other person does not regrip, meaning he's a jackass, or you're in a set grip and he's not allowed to regrip, right? So a big reason that I'm in the set grip is because I don't want the guy to get a good bite on my fist, right? Now, how do you get comfortable making a fist? Just like the strap, you have to use it, right? So I'm gonna show you guys 3 exercises today that I use that connect things to this fist. You will never see anything inside my hand, right? Ever. Because I can make a great fist without anything in there. When you start putting a bunch of shit in there, it's harder to make the fist, right? So I want my fist to be as closed as possible. And because I'm arm wrestling in a tournament where I can't close it all the way, it scares me. As soon as I get scared because I can't make the greatest fist in the world, what do? I sucker punch and I'm getting scared. It's a scared reaction, right? So you've got me making a fist and being a little uneasy about it, which is causing this reflex, right, to happen. So you pull in the straps because you're always training in the straps. Every match is in the straps. Every time that you hook something up to your hand, you're gonna hook it up in the same positions where the strap is. I'm gonna show you those exercises in a minute. The next thing is you're always going in a set grip so that the person cannot get control of your damn hand so easily, right? It's a fact, at least for me. The next thing is that you're training every back pressure, every side pressure, every connection that is in your hand in any type of arm wrestling position needs to be done with your elbow away from your body. I don't know who or why people think that your elbow needs to be sucked in here like this, right? You can't move it after it's sucked in there like that. It is for me, the biggest part of my quickness or the movement is my elbow being so far away from me and then immediately coming back into me, right? So that starts the movement, right? Another thing that starts the movement is me finding a spot where I'm really comfortable and then bringing my feet in. Any of us ever did CrossFit or deadlifted or any squatters? You're a better squatter with your legs, feet closer. It is a fact that if you wasn't so uncomfortable, your best deadlift can be done with your feet touching each other, okay? As soon as your feet get outside of your hips, you become weaker, more comfortable, more range of motion, but not as strong, okay? If we do, like most everyone does, is we get a little wide stance in here, now we cannot move. If we close in, if we take our stance and move it in some, it will let us be taller, right, naturally. We want to be as tall as possible, or at least I do. So instead of being here, I've decided to bring my feet in together. Now it makes me not as comfortable at the start, but it makes me be able to move to a place where I am comfortable. Think about that. If you get to a place that's uncomfortable, if somebody snaps, the first thing you're gonna do is go back to where you're comfortable. So you shouldn't start where you're comfortable. You should start in an uncomfortable place that gets you back to comfortable and has movement involved. So this is how it works for me. First of all, what am I doing every time? Taking you to what?
Straps.
The set grip first, right? Because it's also harder to stop me from slipping if you can't get a wrist curl grip, right? If your hand stays straight and you just close it, it's really hard not to let me out. If you wrist curl in and get a good bite, it makes it a lot harder, right? So I'm taking you to the set grip so that you can't get a wrist curl grip on me. I'm slipping because I'm gonna control the strap game because that's where I'm most comfortable, right? Now, the third thing is my timing has to be amazing. How do I get why? Let me tell you something. I'm talking to you guys because I got great timing. That's what it is. My jokes are on point. Everything. I got great timing, okay? Now, the biggest two reasons that my timing in the arm wrestling are so better, so much better than everyone else's, is because my elbow is away from my body at the start and it immediately comes back. Sucks right back in there to where I'm comfortable, right? Uncomfortable, but training in uncomfortable spots so I can hold back pressure with my elbow out here. As soon as I put something that starts pushing on that, everyone goes like this, right? But if you keep it out there, you'd be surprised at how you can hold pressure out there without being committed and not be able to move, right? So every exercise we'll do today, you'll see that my elbow is gonna be further out than my hand, right? Which you can't really get there on the table, but because I can't quite get there, it makes me uncomfortable. What happens when you're uncomfortable? You move, right? I wanna move. So I'm gonna take my base in some, and then when the uncomfortable spot I'm gonna get is on my toes, right? So I'm gonna rise to my toes, and then my elbow is gonna be far away from my body. What do you think the two things that are gonna happen as soon as they say, or I think they say go? Immediately, I'm going from my toes back to my heels. That's gonna be the first movement. The second one is my elbow coming back. So it appears like, damn, Trav's so fast, right? He's not fast, he's got great timing, okay? The timing are me putting myself, I have great timing even if I set up in a bad position. But because I set up in an uncomfortable place, I'm immediately getting comfortable, which is causing the first bit of movement. So this is what the setup looks like. As soon as we get to the table, the little dab, clap, elbow, point at you, talk a little shit. Whole time, what am I doing? I'm letting the clock go by so I can get the set grip, right? But I don't want to be the real douchebag who's like, I want a set grip, and I'm not calling a set grip. I'm just going to do it my way, right? Because I've got to the set grip, I'm going to make this inverted fist. The guy's going to have a very bad bite on my hand. As soon as they say go, my elbow's coming back, my heels, my toes are coming to my heels, and I'm out of there. Slip immediately. Now they pull out the straps. Why am I so comfortable in the straps? Because I use them all the time. The connection with the exercises have the strap connected the same way, right? So I'm happy. I'm not dreading it, I'm welcoming it. And he knows it, right? Which is bad, right? Nothing's worse than when he thinks that you're better than him in the strap. Well, hey, I'm better than everybody in the strap, so that's one win right there, right? And the game plan is working, right? This guy wants me to grip and not have a set grip. 30 seconds later, we got the set grip. Travis 1, you 0. They say ready to go, I make the fist, we slip out, we get in the strap. 2-0, boy. The game is up. I'm happy. I'm running the match. I know exactly when he's gonna say go. Why am I never surprised when the guy says go? Because I'm always in a set grip. If you're in a set grip, there's a procedure. Doesn't matter what organization it is. Let's go WAF, right? WAF's gonna have, there's 2 situations you gotta be ready for. Them closing you first or them closing your opponent first. The fact is, whichever one they do first, you getting to your toes will happen during the last command. So when the guy says, do you want a cap? Say yes. If he closes my hand first, I barely close my hand and then stop. I don't squeeze. As they're closing the other guy's hands, I rise to my toes and squeeze. If they close his hand first, great. As they close my hand, I rise to my toes and squeeze the fist, right? So I always have a plan on when to do it, right? WAL, they tell you to close your thumb. When they tell us to close our hand, what do? I rise to my toes and make that fist, right? So it's never a situation where I'm sitting here.
Are you squeezing hard?
I'm sorry, you hate it. After what I saw about you today, if I squeeze that thing, boy, and it's funny too, because they don't hate it until they just realize they just fell over the cliff. It's like, oh shit, he got me. It's already too late now, right? It's over. And if you squeeze back, it even puts it in a worse position, at least for me, because I am making a fist so much and training with it that I'm so happy here. Everyone else, if I first tell you to get up here and make a fist, it's not gonna feel that good, right? Because you're not in a set grip and you haven't trained the connection being a fist. Everyone else, the connection is something they grabbed onto, right? Imagine that, I'm just putting this fist inside. So there's 2 ways to control this, right? You guys hold this a little bit, don't matter. Perfect. So I can try to grab this and control it, or I can hook this fist up in here and it's connected to that, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm putting my fist in as the connection instead of me trying to control the connection, okay? Now, so here's what it looks like, right? As soon as I get to the table, I'm taking my elbow and it's flying all the way forward away from my body, right? So we have that distance, right? I'm not here like a lot of people were today. I'm here. There's distance here because when they say go, the first thing that's gonna happen is it's gonna come back. When the referee tells me to close my thumb, I just adjust my feet a little bit because I know I'm about to do what? Rise to my toes, right? As he tells me to close my hand, I rise to my toes. Now I've also just kind of cocked this gun too, right? I know the next thing that's gonna happen is he's gonna say go. And that's when the elbow comes flying back and the fist and the toes to the heels. So you don't have to do toes to the heels and you don't have to put your elbow out, but you better figure out some way to get a running start to hit this guy instead of setting up a wall and letting him try to blast through it. You can be that guy if you want. I can't teach you that. I can teach you how to break that bitch down. Just crush it, sucker punch it, all that stuff, all right? So watch again. Let's go WAF grip, right? And we're gonna have them close my hand first. So I'm here, the referee closes my thumb, he closes my hand, I make it light. As soon as I get close, I stop, right? As they're closing his hand, what do? Rise to my toes and make a fist, right? The next thing that's gonna happen is what? Go. It's gonna say go, right? And I'm gonna slip, or if you're dumb enough to hold on to that fist, you can lose without going in the strap. That's totally up to you. So a lot of times the guy says, did you hook him or did you top roll him? He got beat in the hook because he tried to come hook me, right? Or he got beat in the top roll because he tried to fall back and take my hand. But it doesn't matter, it's just high side pressure and that's it. You got it? Yeah. So that's what I do. Now I'm gonna tell you what I do to make that strong. All right, first thing is this exercise right here. Hey, there it is. Who said that? Nice. I see things turning in your head. You're like, oh shit, been doing this wrong. It happens. This thing sucks this way.
Hey, so when you WF set grip, that's not a foul. When you make the fist, they close you first, and it's a set grip, and they're ready, and you do that. They're not calling you a foul.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't really do that as much, right? I would just kind of put it here and then, right? But also too, they're moving him as I'm doing that, so they're not looking for me to move.
Okay.
They're looking for him. What would be wrong is if I tried to make as tight as fist in the world, and then as I was making it, crunched up, it ruined the fact of him trying to get a grip. I've done that in the past, right? He asked about the referees. So this will happen, right? If you have a good setup and you make that fist good, the other guy's so screwed, sometimes he can't even get it grip, right? So you gotta be careful. If you're closing first in the WF grip, don't close so fucking aggressively that it ruins the setup and causes the other guy to foul or the referee to have some, remorse for him, so he tries to fix it, right? So you got to disguise it. Don't make that fist crazy unless you're last, or you do it as they're setting him, so it won't be as obvious. But don't get me wrong. If you're sloppy with any of this, you will get fouled. The referees hate that I'm taking you to the set grip, and they hate that I'm taking you to the straps, and they can't do anything about it. All right, it's a tough gig. Sometimes I've been fouled out like, come on, man. And it's just them trying not to let me do me. And I get it, right? Because it's a manipulation of the rules, I guess. I'm just trying to win. All right, so the first exercise is you have to control, when you make that fist, you have to control the top index finger back pressure position, right? Meaning, if you make a fist, you can't have somebody just come up here and touch your index finger and then your whole shit collapses. All right, so you have to train this, right, hard. And what do you have to train, most importantly, is with your elbow away from you. Everybody's got great back pressure here, but do you have it here? Because what we want is for you to be able to stand up, not lean back, but defend back pressure. So I can actually lean forward, but because I've got my elbows so far away from me, I've got a lot of pressure that will stop you from a hammer curl pressure. Most people get their hammer curl pressure like this. But once you lean back, you have no side pressure. The goal is to lean forward, but have back pressure so that you still have the ability to windshield wiper sideways, right? If you overcommit yourself because you have to have back pressure before the start, you're not gonna have a lot of side pressure after that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Remember that. If you set up with all back pressure with your lower body, then you're not gonna have any side pressure, all right? So this exercise, the fist goes, I make the fist, the connection is simple, right? It's not around my wrist, right? It's right on that knot right there, right? Another thing it causes, it's constantly trying to get my hand to invert, right? And you gotta be careful when you're top rolling that you don't over invert, because you give them a way out to come up under and slide. You want that back pressure, but once you get it, you wanna contain it so it doesn't move this way or that way. This fist right here, I bring it back, stretch it out, throw the elbow forward, right? Make sure that all my weight is on my front foot. So I'm leaning forward, but because my elbow is so far out, I got great back pressure. And I'm just sitting here. If this is pretty easy, I like it. But if it was harder, then you start to be like this is not good, right? We want this. So you're not gonna be able to do a lot of weight, but you don't need to. You need to make sure that when you close your fist, that you're not already committed back pressure with your lower body, right? If your elbow's away from you, you can lean forward and still have back pressure. Does that make sense? Why do you want that? When you get up here, you're looking to lean forward, but still have back pressure. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
Lean forward and still have back pressure. Put that fist and then elbow out, and that'll make it happen. The next exercise, similar to the one we just did. However, what do we have to get comfortable with, right? Those straps, right? What'd you say? I like that, kid. That's too much for this crowd. That's too much for this crowd. But we have to be comfortable in the straps. How do you get comfortable in the straps? Now, this is the double loop because it's easy, but it wouldn't matter if this was just right around the pole. You take this, you even them out, and then you start braiding. Oh, that won't work. Hold that. All right. Someone tell me what this is starting to look like right here. What does this look like?
Strap.
Looks like the damn straps, guys. So put it on. Make sure the bottom is in the right place where you want it, right? The guy says, where should I put the strap? Well, it's very simple. How about we do a couple experiments, find out where you can do the most weight, the most resistance, and then take a damn picture of what you got connected. So if I can do a lot of weight like this, then I want to put the strap like this. But if I run this scenario and I can't do it anymore from here, but then I take the strap and I put a lot of my hand in it more, right? And then move it down a little bit. All of a sudden now, I can go a lot further. So how do you think I should put the strap on? This way, right? Why am I so happy with it here? Because I'm doing this exercise all the time. Now, this is the good one right here. I got this thing connected, right? But instead, if I know that if I feel all the pressure up here at the top, what's going on? Right? That means I'm gonna have nothing at the bottom. If I drop my hand and I feel all the pressure here and not up here, that means I'm gonna lose my hand. However, if I have them going back at the same tension and start taking the meat between them and trying to bring it out of there, all of a sudden they both at the same rate are pulling against the person. Because let's be honest about the strap. That strap is pulling that guy down. You're pulling the strap is connected to him and he's pulling it down, right? So you have to pull against the strap, not the man. How do you do that? That exercise right there, and I'm not talking about 20 minutes on that thing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm talking about you need to set up in your car. It's gotta be at work. The best arm wrestler in the world, he don't have a job. Right. His arm wrestling is his job. That's a fact. So if you have to work, which most of us do, be an asshole about this stuff being around. Your wife should be pissed off about it. Your boss will think you're weird. Co-workers think you're weird. But you're at home, you got it set up in the new truck. But you're always resisting that fist in the strap or with that high knuckle. Listen, that first exercise is the most important thing I ever did in my life. As soon as I realized that I should not worry about how much weight that I'm holding in back pressure, I should make sure my elbow is far away and I'm holding half the pressure, because in this tournament, if my elbow is far away and I still can resist pressure, it sets me up to have a lot to work with after that because I didn't commit myself yet. All right, so that high knuckle, worrying about your index finger back pressure, hugely important for the whole game. And braiding that strap and putting it on there and being really comfortable, resisting and knowing. You shouldn't ask anybody, where should I put the strap? You should know it because you're training. And you should, you guys are spending 95% of your time out of the strap training and 90% in the tournament in the strap. All right, and listen, if you're not in this strap, it's because the guy has no respect for you. As soon as he is scared of you, your ass is going in the strap. It's the first thing we all do when we get scared. We slip, right? So don't find out after the tournament that you need to work on your strap game. And don't ask anyone. Do it, you personally. Put the strap on with your wife, your brother, your kid, doesn't matter. Put it on wrong. That's a good thing to know, right? This is terrible. Can't do it, can't operate like it. Where are my numbers the best? My numbers are the best when it's setting right there, going right down that bone line of my thumb, right? And then about an inch and a half past my wrist, I'm the strongest right here. It's not that the referee don't sometimes put it here and I gotta deal with it, but it's a lot easier to deal with this than it is if I was training here and then he put it the other way, right? So I know what makes me click, so I'm gonna try to get it as much as I can, all right? Now, side pressure is the key to your arm wrestling future. However, side pressure is a problem because what does it do?
Pain.
Woo! Man, anybody tell me they got a side pressure exercise? You do it first. I want to see you do it before I do it. All right. So I have great what? I told you guys earlier. What's my greatest attribute? It's timing, brother. Timing. All right. So because I have great timing, I decided, like, where do I need side pressure? Because a lot of people need side pressure at the beginning of the match, but I don't, believe it or not. I need it to finish the match. Because my timing and my hit and my explosion always gets us moving in my direction. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that. I'd be in big trouble, right? But because of that, my game is 10 o'clock, right? So immediately, I don't care if you're the best, I don't care who you are, I'm gonna get the jump. It's a fact, right? I'm gonna put you in an unnatural position that you're not as comfortable as me. My elbow's gonna slide back fast, I'm going right to my heels. We're gonna get to 10 o'clock. So I've decided, instead of me working side pressure from a defensive position, I'm gonna use it where I need it, right? And I need it from about 10 o'clock until I close this thing out at 8 o'clock or whatever the pin pad is. So because I tell myself that I'm gonna get here before I start pressing, it's amazing that I get there right away. Just subconsciously, immediately, I already know that I'm going to be there, right? And because of that, I'm always there. So because I've got that couple inches of the head start, it makes the side pressure exercise a lot safer. Right. All right, so how can we hook this up so it doesn't hurt anybody? This is definitely a ghetto makeshift thing, but it's all good, it'll work. All right, cool. So here's another thing I learned right away. If you bury your elbow into anything and then give side pressure, it's gonna hurt. Okay, it's gonna hurt. So traditionally, if you make that fist, I don't need to hold shit anymore because I've got a fist that everything's gonna be connected to. Give me a little bit of tension. That way, yeah, that way it's good, it steeps it there. So I've got this fist in here. I'm gonna pretend that I've got that 10 o'clock position, and all I'm gonna do from here is raise my elbow up, and then Paul's gonna pull. And then the side pressure that I'm gonna get from this, all it's gonna do is straighten my arm out. Right. It's not gonna take me into this broke arm position because I've got my arm buried. So 10 o'clock means I got the jump, right? I'm here. Now as he starts pulling, I just elbow up, elbow up. The worst thing that happens is he straightens my arm out, okay? This done on this bench, just like, can I have this bench just for a second? You can stand up and set right back down in 2 seconds. Just a little bit, not much. I find that if you're seated, give it to me a little bit, and I keep it starting on this side of my face, and then he starts giving me a little pressure, elbow up, and then he just straightens my arm out. I can do that a lot without hurting myself. Immediately, yeah, you're really messing up by not learning something, dude. Your career's gonna stay the same. So when they say ready, go, boom, I'm in here, and sometimes I gotta grind from here. So what happens is I'm right in that same position. As soon as I get my body down, all they're gonna do is straighten it out, and I'm gonna be able to pull tomorrow. Yeah. This shit here, yep. Sometimes you ain't pulling for a while. After that, right? Exactly. I'm not saying that those guys are wrong for doing that. It's just not my cup of tea, right? My flexibility is perfect. See this shit? I'm good. Right? I don't got no bone spurs right now. No cup of bone being taken out of my elbow. I'm straight. And it's mostly because I have learned that we need side pressure, but we can do it with our elbow up to a place where it just opens us up and it's natural. There's a thing called a losing lane. If you have a losing lane, you can work tomorrow without pain. If you don't have a losing lane, it means there's some shit going on as he beats you that is not, like, it's not good for you, right? And you see it a lot, right? The pain is real, right? So.
Can you get that with position?
So,
you ever get that with position?
Exactly, and you can manipulate it yourself, right? And you can do this with a bed sheet and your wife or kids, right? You hook the bed sheet up right there at the base of your wrist curl, right? Elbow up, and then they pull on it. Yep. And that happens. This, no good. Yeah. This is not bad, and you can do a lot of reps. How often often should you be doing these exercises?
Every day.
If you're a pussy, do it once a week and tell everybody you're an arm wrestler. If you want to be the man, you better get on it.
Travis,
every day,
where do you place
all
it?
day.
Where do you
It
place
depends on, that was a horrible situation right there. The thing that I had is that strap that the girls use, the leather one, and I hook it up on my wrist.
Right wrist.
And then I just take a towel and squeeze it, right?
Okay.
But the fact is that if I get the timing and the hit that I want, they're gonna be on my wrist, not my hand. And it's this guy, this carving Vazgen guy, who's my biggest nemesis. If you're committed to the carve, it scares me the most. You got it?
Yeah.
Right, so I know that that's the position where I'm gonna have to dig sideways at that last 2 inches because he's done cut the angle off. I can't take my elbow back any further and he's on my side of the table, but now he's like, yo, there ain't no more back pressure. You're gonna have to go through my arm a little bit. And it works out because I find myself not planted and pulling. I find myself locking and moving the elbow with it. Does that make sense? So this lock becomes a mobile lock, not set and then on top of it using it as a lever, but the whole thing moving. And I just call it running. So if I get this guy and I'm locked in here, now I just run him to the pin pad. So I don't have to change the up and down, but sideways will open his arm up too.
Okay, you got 5 minutes, right?
Who just said that?
Hey Travis,
Appreciate
with the bands and stuff like that,
Yep.
is there a certain spot that you would want the bands, like do you want the shoulder width above, below, or do you do it
It
all?
all depends, everywhere, right? It all depends. Now, me personally, I know that the higher they are, the harder they are, right?
Yeah.
Once they're low, I can kind of use it. So it depends on if I'm feeling sorry for myself, I make them low.
Yeah.
If I'm really like, dude. And here's another thing. If you have this place in one position, you can monitor yourself about how strong you are. So if I'm using this blue strap, I've got it hooked up here, I lock it in here. Now, I know that when I start going back, if I take advantage of the elbow and move it back in, I'm gonna be able to go further. But I'm not gonna be a better arm wrestler for it. I'm gonna be better when I keep my elbow out. As I start moving back, once I can't keep my chin, my index finger on my chin, I gotta stop. Well, I gotta mark my foot, boom. I know that I can take it back to this mark with my elbow in the right position. Now, when I'm really serious and I'm trying to get rolling, I gotta beat that mark, right? And I can measure it all the time, right? So it's not a mystery whether I'm strong or not. The mystery with your side pressure, you can have that because you don't have weights hooked up, you got a person. Why do you want a person pulling on it and not really a weight stack? Because the person over there is moving. That person can move, and when they do move, you can adjust to it. You got it? So let's go over the game plan one more time. Why am I the best?
Time.
I got great time, right? I love that. I love that. All right. What are the 2 things that I'm gonna do that are gonna help me control the match?
Set stripes.
All right, you don't answer anymore. You're on top. You're on top. You're our best student. I like it. He said set, grip, and straps. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at some of you, and you're not getting it, right? And I understand, kind of. That's why I done said this 9 times, right? Get to the set grip and get to the straps so that you have some control about when he's gonna say go, right? Know the process. Know if the guy's closing your hand or he's telling you to close your hand. Whatever the rules are, you're not gonna catch me not knowing what the fuck is going on. I know exactly what's going on. I know the guy's social security number, the referee. I'm on this shit, right? I know it, right? I've got great timing. I'm putting you in the set grip. I'm putting you in the strap. I'm just making a fist and letting you try to control it. And what am I doing? I'm training with that fist and with those connections exactly the way that they're gonna be used here. You will never win an arm wrestling tournament doing a bicep curl. It doesn't happen. If you wanna get good, do a bicep negative, because that's what really happens, right? You're here already. If you tell me a guy's got real good bicep curl, you know where he's strong? Right before I beat him. That's a bad place to be strong, right? I want to be strong before we start, or when I win, not right before I beat him. You got that? All right, so I'll give you guys I think Scott will give me 5 more minutes. Who cares if he leaves, actually. But I'll start answering some questions and reiterating anything. So what we got?
Why spend so much time training this extended position when you start, the first thing you do pretty much is come in?
That
Running start.
Can I answer?
please, God. Let me hear it.
It's like lighting a match. You gotta get that friction, you gotta get that motion. If you have no motion, you
It's an
got
uncomfortable
nowhere to
place.
push off.
He
It's
wants
like
to get
pushing
there
off.
fast.
Right? So that uncomfortable position, I know that it's a meat. Now, if I don't want to get out there and not have anything where the guy can just whack me, so I want to make sure I'm strong and tight out there. But I also know that my elbow coming back is the most one of that and my toes going to my toes to my heels are the 2 things that start the movement that I don't have to. It's subconscious. It just happens because I'm not comfortable with it out there, so it's coming back.
So you're not going to stay out here during the arm wrestle?
Not at all. Yeah, you missed the first part of the seminar. It's okay. Hey, listen. Just ask him when you get home, right? Right. But that training is because that training is for the setup.
Okay.
After the match happens, we're doing, we're just trying to run and win and beat the guy, right? So we're just pinning the guy. There is no strategy on trying to take his hand. It's high side pressure with this tight fist. And that's it. A lot of times, if you make a fist, the guy's gonna not hold on to you. He's gonna slip. So you better be good in the straps, right? No problem. I also should make sure that fist is really comfortable with the connection of the strap. That's why we're braiding those things, right? Pull-ups are awesome, right? Now I'm gonna tell you the last thing is there are those 2 straps that you see people put underneath their armpits and then they do leg lifts. If you take those, you have those here.
I think we do have.
If you can find a pair, it'd be awesome. If you can't, don't worry about it. But these things hook up to the pull-up bar. If you take those things and then you fold them, I think they're right here.
What about using the towel? Doing the same thing, right?
Well, it's not, these things are really cool, right? So these things are sitting there and you're supposed to put your arms in them. But if you fold it, you can just put your fist in there and it's connected right there, right? Now you can do these pull-ups. That is I didn't want to tell you that because you got the damn camera rolling. That's the best exercise in the world. And here's what happens. They put that strap on, my hands here, and then I kind of squeeze and then I raise up from the pull-up. And it's, now if you do the pull-up with your hands, then you're gonna wanna control people. If you put a fist in something and do it, you're gonna be real comfortable with making that fist, let him hold on to it, and you use that to pull yourself up to that position. All right, now, the last thing I'm gonna tell you is super technical. I shouldn't even tell you this, but I'm gonna tell you, you gotta be like, this is like trigonometry, all right? I just gave y'all some basic math, all right? But you bring you guys up here, and I get you in this position. If I resist you, meaning I pull you away from your body, you will resist me hard. If I lean forward and take the pressure off, you're lost. So, as I'm rising to my toes, I also kind of push into you a little bit, and the guy's all ready for something going away. And as soon as I give it to him, he just like goes to sleep.
Right.
And then what's the next thing that happens?
You pull the flash up.
They say, go. Pop! It's over right now. Be careful digesting that right away. But it is a crazy, awesome thing. And if you watch Luke Kent, I've been training Luke Kent for 5 years. He's got it. He does exactly what I just told you guys. Perfectly. Sometimes he commits a little early, but if he hits it, you can't stop him. You don't know it's happening. You can't get a grip. Boom! The guy's in the stands before you figure out what happened. All right, it's a great thing. Now listen, cosmetically, if you're not that strong, you look like a weasel doing it every single time. I'd rather be the winning weasel than the sportsman of the year who got 7th place. I do not want the sportsmanship trophy. Not interested in it, all right? I want the winning money. All right, it's because you will. It is, this is a gentleman's game, right? That's why I'm so evil. Right? Literally, like, you're supposed to walk up, shake the guy's hand. You're supposed to cry with him afterwards. lot of shit, but and I just decided to be happy because I won and not really care about him any that much anymore. So it's frowned upon, right? Like, and also, if you're not a little bit of a prick, asshole, this game's gonna eat you up a little bit too, because everyone is super. If you don't think Alan Fisher is selfish human being, like this guy will stab you with an ice pick if you mean he could win $50 at arm wrestling match. Like he's dirty, right? But he's an amazing human being. That's great. I mean, off the table, no evilness at all. Not a very nice guy on the table, right? Just a fact. And it's a good thing.
So the arm cradle, you can demonstrate it with this.
Yes, I can do that. All right, so let's imagine that these are two things, right? And they're separate, right? So you fold this thing and it's about that big, and now your fist is just in here. Now, if this thing was hard, that exercise is the same one that if you put that strap on, and you'll see me, my elbow is far away from my body's down here. When they say go, the squeeze happens a little early, and then I rise up, and as I rise up, I go on your side of the table, taking off the tension and setting up this huge sucker punch. All right?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah. I was gonna say, just nutrition week of or day of, and not really like meat or whatever, mostly like honey or some people
I know nothing.
Nothing, right?
Nothing. I smoke blunts, drink Mountain Dew, and eat double cheeseburgers. I'm gonna die early. Diabetes, but I'm a bad motherfucker, and I'm sure that I could do better.
Yeah.
And I have done better because I've listened. Kangen Water, this guy got me on this show. I don't know if it's real or not. It's this
What's it called?
Kangen water machine.
Water?
All it is super high oxygenated water. Right?
Okay.
Well, I'm like all in. Getting up in the morning, 8.5, drinking a half a gallon. Dude, then it was 2016. My dad passed away. I'm drinking this Kangen water. I got a picture of him on the wall. He loves arm wrestling way more than me. So I'm like, I should have did better. Should have been a better person. All of a sudden, I go to there, I can't lose.
Yeah.
Like, I can't lose. I got Dave Depew. I'm just, are you kidding me? I could have beat you guys 6 months ago sitting on the I'm too strong now.
Yeah.
Now, was it the Kangen water? Or was it me training harder because my dad? I don't know. But my dad's only going to pass away once, and I ain't getting that machine again. It's $5,000.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, your whole training philosophy and everything you do is based off real table time application, right? Every position is like the position you're gonna get, right?
No wasted movements.
So why do you train side pressure the way you don't apply side pressure? Because you never apply side pressure with your palm up.
No, the fact
You train
is I
from
can do a perfect job at trying to take your hand, but if you are committed to that carve, I will run out of room, and if I don't have that side pressure. But here's the thing. When I do have that side pressure, I don't have to do a lot of this shit. I can just eat through guys like Derek, like he ain't even there. But boom, any technique, right? But if I want to pull, that was a little jab at Derek. And not laughing right away would be even awesome. Go ahead.
I figured your side, like in your move, when your side pressure.
But you've
like,
never seen my move,
this.
first of all.
No, I mean,
You've never felt it. Now, one day you are gonna fucking feel it, because you're gonna get better.
no, I'm saying from the video
Right.
shows.
I'm just saying.
Isn't it like more of a high with your knuckles high, fist, side? So wouldn't it?
It's a big, high fist side pressure, letting that guy decide all the minor details. If he wants to come forward, it looks like we're hooking a little bit. If he falls away, it looks like I took his hand right away, right? So it's either way. It's not that. For me, it's just high side pressure. If I'm really scared of you, I will self-destruct and only go back and have negative feelings, and then it's all fucked up. If not, it's all positive. I already know I'm gonna win. All I have to do is what I do, and he can't stop me. That's the next question. Yes.
With the double buckle strap, does your move still work with that? The buckles on both? I mean,
Yeah, because my move works when the other guy's got the buckle. So I have never used a double buckle struggle.
Yeah, that's
whatever.
your opinion on it.
Might suck. I might hate it. But I don't think I will because I've learned so much that it's not really a secret in the strap.
Yeah.
It's just, are you comfortable with that thing to you there? And I'm very comfortable.
If you have
Plus,
the buckle,
plus the move with the double buckle strap doesn't really change.
Right.
It really doesn't.
yeah, you can still get the.
Yeah, you can't.
I think
rotate
it takes
out
away
and
the overwhelming cheat move that comes along with that weird thing that people can do if they really let them set it up the way they want. But who the hell's gonna let you do that in a tournament?
What is that move so I don't get fucked?
I don't know either, but I just know that if I put this strap on and I put a lot of my hand, the palm of my hand, into yours and above yours,
Right.
that if I have the buckle and I tighten that thing down, you're pretty screwed. But I've also had people say, watch, I'll do it to you and I kill them. So if you're stronger than people, you're stronger than them most of the time.
I think overall, Travis, what has made you great is your mental focus is far above your opponents by probably 20-fold. And that's
I'd
why
say 50, but yeah.
that's why you like when you get up there, like, I've already won. I just now got
because
to
I'm not-
execute
yeah,
because
all I have to do is do what I do. I
Yeah,
don't have
exactly.
to worry about that guy. A lot of times you're at the other guy's mercy because of your thoughts, right? So that does help.
So focus is everything. And when you talk about when you first started out, your focus was already there. I mean, you were designed to be the person that you are.
And not trying to just be this professional arm wrestler, just knowing who I am, but still trying to win, right? So I know who I am. I'm not the strongest guy in the world. I'm not going to block everything with my shoulder, stop the match, and out-endure you. So I need to know how to finish efficiently and with amazing timing, right?
So
Quick.
I don't think trying is part of it. You've already won. Trying isn't part of your equation.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How'd you hold Richard Lucas here? Stand up.
That was all Richard Richard doing wrong, right?
Stand
all
up.
I did was Richard is
crazy.
make a fist and lead him
Same
into
move.
a dark tunnel, and he took the bait. If he was smart, he would have never moved when they said go, because I would have crumbled underneath of him. But he's not a real super technical guy, and just like always, he was scared that he wasn't going to beat me too, so he had his one move. Right? And he kind of slid underneath him just a little bit. And honestly, I should have lost that.
Yeah.
It's just, thank God, that he has no adjustability at all, like myself. Like, I'm not the, I hear people say all the time, won't you stand up? Well, let me put you in that position and you just stand up. Unless you can do a one-arm pull-up, it ain't that easy. You know?
If you face someone with a way short arm and like tucks their thumb,
Don't get me wrong, and that's going to happen, right? It's not going to be perfect all the time where you're going to be like this,
Well,
right?
you can't-
Right, but
would
here's
you
the
do it?
thing. Well, you just back that thing up and you lean more forward and you know that it's going to be slightly awkward. However, you feel sorry for them because they got a short-ass arm. You don't think it's a great attribute, right? You're like, dude, you're handicapped, so I got to change my shit up. And that's why I'm really tough when the guy's long. Because when a guy's longer than me, then my shit is straight up in the air, which is where I'm training all the time, and he's a little bit like that. So I do like that. Did this make sense to you guys? Listen, here's the most important thing, right, is you can bring, I don't care who it is up here, and it's like they're talking German with all this shit, right? And all this in-game adjustment. There's no in-game adjustment in arm wrestling for me. When they say go, either I'm on my way to winning or I'm on my way to losing. There ain't no, I'm gonna ride him out 10 o'clock, wait a half hour, drain him. It's not in my repertoire. It can be in yours. I just can't help you with it in this seminar. But you shouldn't be so surprised when you watch me or Luke Kent now. You should recognize all the things that are happening. And then take them, you might not like it all, but there's gotta be something in there. And even if you don't use it, recognize that that other person's using it against you. And try to, have as much information as possible. But I will tell you this, offense is the best defense for me, right? Like, I don't have any time to worry about what the hell you're doing. And if you try to get the combination to all 10,000 arm wrestlers, you got a lot of time to spend. Here's what I want. I want people to try to figure out what's the combination of my lock, rather than me trying to find out the
Can I
combination
ask you a
of all
question on
yours.
slipping?
You
So
can.
you saw my match with Cage earlier? So is there different ways you slip, or is it one way you got?
Well, yeah, but here's the thing.
That's
Like, there's one way for me, and it's to put you in a set grip so that you can't. Now,
Get
don't
that.
get me wrong.
Get that.
Cage kind of was real borderline whether he was in a slight wrist curl, but his hand's so strong. But for me, I would have just inverted my hand a little bit, and as soon as he squeezed his hand, I would have as soon as he squeezed his hand, I'd have turned in and said, Jesus Christ, ref, this fucking guy's in a hook. And then he would have got a foul, or he would have gave me a foul. And either way, it would have brought enlightenment to this whole situation. This guy's a rock, and he's freaking got a little bit too much of a carve, and he's killing me. Now, he might just be too strong for you now. You know, I mean, I've arm wrestled guys where I'm like, not today. It doesn't matter. My timing and this is not the right day. The guy's stronger than me. I'll take 2 more questions. You got ready to say something.
As far as like with wrist and like turning of the wrist and when you're in a certain move, like, I mean,
I don't think there is any turning. I think it's holding it, not letting it turn, that makes it look like it turned when the other guy tries to move it. That's my personal opinion. So there is no wrist curls in the game. It's just a fist pulling a fist with stuff connected to it. But there is no wrist curling and no pronation. I do have a 40 pound, a 70 pound, and a 110 pound dumbbell right at my little chair. And the commercial comes on, I grab the 40 and I do as many as I can before the commercial's over. The next time the commercial comes, I grab the 70, slower. But as I bring it up, I turn it and put the thing on the other side of my face. But I'm lazy, I don't do them that much. And I grew up in wrestling, so all the small little details that I skipped over, it's because I learned that shit when I was 2 years old, and I'm done with it, right? Like this, what I'm telling you, is a lot easier for you to change your game up than me trying to get real stupid about just your hand, or just back pressure, or pronation, and all that other stuff. Yes, ma'am.
What do you tell a person, it's my first day today, a new person just getting in the sport? All this is new information, but I get it. I get what you're talking
So tell me the question again?
So the question, what's your advice? Somebody's first day.
I mean, good luck that it's fun. Because I mean, if you're not having fun, it's trouble. So hopefully, I don't know who you're training with. Without? Oh yeah, you're screwed. No, I'm kidding. I mean, hopefully you enjoy the process, right? Like, because honestly, the competitions are usually a letdown, especially from a women's standpoint. There's usually not enough of you, right? Luckily, you're in Southern California where there are some girls, but the fact is what is awesome about arm wrestling is when you get to arm wrestle new people. That doesn't happen a lot, right? Because most of the time you just arm wrestle your guys. I'm lucky enough that I'm on the road all the time, so I get to arm wrestle new guys. It's fun. So practicing is what you're going to do more than competitions, right? And be honest with yourself. If you're like a sore loser weirdo, this ain't your game, dude, because you're going to get your ass whipped. And here's the problem. It's like junior wrestling. As soon as you beat the kid, the dad's like, try that guy. You beat him, try this guy. Ooh, shit. All right. That was bad. That's the way arm wrestling is, right? It's unless you're the man, the ass woman's coming. Because you're just going to get in there. So that losing lane that you can actually lose and it's okay is important. And that will come from that side pressure, straightening your arm out and you recoiling. And then, you start off real goofy like this because you're trying to do the exercise. But then all of a sudden, you're like this. And you're all smooth and, it's all good because you're working it.
So just one
2 minutes, I'll be there.
This is the one thing I'm unclear about. Can I? So when
no,
you're,
don't
when you're
touch
doing
me.
your move, when you're doing your move, you're not really top rolling, or you're just focused on cupping and doing your side pressure.
Exactly, and not always cupping either. But now don't get me wrong. My fear takes that angle back. If you're Dave Chafee, I'm coming straight back. If you're Derek, I'm in the middle. Right? Because he's got a hook, but he ain't got a crazy one, right? But and also I should have started with this. The best way to find this thing is you got to do a lot of ghost arm wrestling, which means you don't need an opponent. All you need to work on is your setup, right? So I come to the table and the referee's there, but he's not there. The opponent, I could care less, so it's better that he's not there, right? I just right-hand corner as far away as I can to stop him from having an angle to get a good grip. When they tell me to close my thumb, I just adjust my feet a little bit. When they tell me to close my hand, I rise to my toes, push towards my opponent just a little bit. They say go, and then I'm going to the pad. This changes a lot because of that guy. He comes forward, he leans back, whatever he does. Listen, I hope you guys got it. This dude is dick enough to leave. I'm telling you, it's crazy. But I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, I
Hopefully you figured it out. I feel like that explanation I gave you guys today was the shortest, best version. So I'm sorry if it was too quick. I'm TravisBagent1@gmail. You got a question? Don't expect a timely response. But the next time I see you, I will acknowledge that you sent me an email. I'm kidding. I may respond. There's a lot of them in there, though. And then when you see me, we should be cool enough now that you just say what's up. I'm just Travis. I'm not the champ. Just a regular guy. Treat me as such. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you hanging out.